Well, good morning, my friends. Welcome to Friday. We know what happens on Friday nights and the weekends in Michigan this year, this winter, it seems, don't we? We have a storm system, and we do. And it's a decent sized storm system. It's got a lot of different qualities from last week's. Last week's had the potential to put down 3.5 inches of liquid, and it did. So it had the potential to do a lot more things to us with the freezing rain that it put down and snow. This one is pretty much a snowmaker changing to some rain showers. So I've even written a post about how it's kind of opposite of what we had last weekend. Is this one will start on the cold side and warm up for a little period in the middle and then back to cold and snow. So we're going to talk about several things this morning. We're going to talk about a dry day today. Well, we just pretty much covered that. We're also going to talk about when the snow starts and how much snow is on the way. Hey, Jason Schwan from Royal Oak, bring on the snow. Yes, okay. Royal Oak, be able to get the snowmobile out at least for a short time period. I do want to mention that next week, most models show quite a warming trend on the way. Good morning, Tammy Shipper and Jesse Bamberg and Nancy Joinville. Good Friday morning. Thank you. Dee Dee Holmes, Kalamazoo. All right, let's get to it and show you what's going to here. First off, the purple, no, I'm sorry, the pinkish areas, I guess I would call it, that is where a winter storm warning is in effect. So basically, Oakland County, Macomb County, around the Detroit area, that's where the winter storm warning has been issued because it looks like there will be a little bit heavier, by about an inch or two, a little bit heavier burst of snow in the late night hours Saturday morning for that southeast corner. So, when you go, what's the difference between winter weather advisory and winter storm warning? Winter storm warning, it can vary by National Weather Service office. So, for example, we know the Grand Rapids area gets more snow than the eastern side of the state. So, Grand Rapids, they'll get a 5 to 8 inch snow over a certain time period. It could still be a winter weather advisory. Southeast corner, it's a little bit heavier compared to what you're used to, and so that turns into a winter storm warning. So that's kind of the difference there. Let's take a look at the radar. You could see that the storm is definitely taking shape back to our southwest. You can definitely see that we're dry. You can definitely see we have a good travel day today until the storm system gets this way. So we go right to our radar forecast. And now in the short term, we go to some of the models. You hear us talk about the European model versus the American model. We go to one of the short-term models from our National Weather Service and NOAA. And by the way, we pay for all this with our tax dollars. So we go to the short-term one, and here it is. So this is 6 o'clock tonight. You can see the leading edge of the snowfall still back to the southwest of Michigan. And now we go to 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, just getting into the southwest corner. Let's go to 10 o'clock tonight, approaching Grand Rapids, maybe in Grand Rapids, maybe in Kalamazoo, Benton Harbor, Battle Creek, St. Joe, Muskegon, Ludington. Not yet for Detroit and Ann Arbor and Saginaw, 10 o'clock. Midnight tonight, possibly towards Saginaw and Mount Pleasant and Clare. And probably into Ann Arbor, probably getting into Detroit about midnight tonight. So that gives you a good feel in the southeast corner. We're under that winter storm warning. If you're back home by 10 or 11 o'clock, you're probably missing even the start of the snow. Hey, Amy Atha, good morning to you. Jamie Dingle watching from Florida for my whole family in Michigan. You lucky dog, you. Ryan Lynch, can I get your cell number? Pretty sure we're best friends. We are best friends. I'll PM you my cell phone number. All right, so we're in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning. We're at 5 and 6 in the morning. And this is when we expect the heaviest snowfall. How do we quantify heavy snowfall. We do it by visibility. We've done this forever as meteorologists. Quarter-mile visibility is heavy snow, and that's generally 1 inch an hour of snow or more. Sometimes you get down to an eighth mile visibility or 0, and that's usually 2 inches of snow per hour. In this case, we think that visibilities could go down to a quarter mile due to heavy snow. Half-inch or half-mile visibility is what we would call moderate snow, and that would usually be about an inch every 2 to 3 hours. And then 3/4 mile visibility would be the demarcation for light snow. 3/4 mile visibility would be an inch every 6 hours or so. So, point being is that at some point, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. tomorrow, the heavy snow is possible in periods where the visibility goes down to a quarter mile. Okay, this is a nice Michigan snowstorm. It's not a mega storm, but it is a time period to avoid travel if you can. Now, this is 9 in the morning, and then we get another feature of these storms that move to our north and get us on the warm side. We get what we call the dry slot. So this dry slot moves in, the air warms up a touch, goes above freezing, and then the snow can change over to drizzle. And right now, this model is showing that at 10 in the morning. Now, yesterday I'd anticipated that at noon into the afternoon. It looks like it's a little bit quicker coming in late morning, a little bit quicker going out. By mid to late afternoon, we're already back into the northwest wind and already back into the cold side of the storm. Rain's changing again. Mel Jean, how does the lake effect work for those of us close to Lake Erie in Erie or Luna Pier? That's the west wind and the cold temperatures coming across that long stretch, or what we call fetch, of Lake Erie. Can't see the bottom of the Michigan map. Okay, hold on just a second. Thank you. Good call. It's there, but it's hard to see. Let me adjust. Let me try to adjust it a touch for you here. Okay. All right. So back to the radar forecast. So we get the heavy burst of snow pretty much everywhere. We go into the late morning, maybe a mix in the far southern. Get into how much snow here in just a moment. That'll be the next screen. We get the dry slot in the late morning, early afternoon, goes down to drizzle. Then we get, this is 2 in the afternoon, then we get the cold coming back in, the snow showers. And then as we go to Saturday night, you see how the snow pattern starts to take on the lake effect and becomes more developed as we go into Sunday. So it'll transition from what we call a system snow to a lake effect snow. How much? Okay, let's see. Let's make sure it's looking good for you here. Yes. And there it is. We'll just progress it along till it's done on Saturday. And that's why I would call this one a 5 to 8 inch snow from southeast lower, Detroit, Ann Arbor area, Oakland County, through the Grand Rapids area, and up to the west side of the state. I'd call it a 4 to 6 inch snow for the rest of the state. And bear in mind, again, that it comes down in about a 9 to 12 hour period. Lynette Sackman flying out to Florida Sunday as well. If you're going for Metro, should be okay in my mind. There will be a band of lake effect possibly developing along I-94 on Sunday. The wind flow is right for that. But Sunday, much better than Saturday. Now, Kendall Bailey. Some models were putting 9 inches in our area. Yes. Again, we get the mix. We get the warmth. It's going to compact. I think that sounds a little bit high. And you got to remember that one model, a lot of things, what happens nowadays a lot is on the social media, one model will be heavier than all the rest. They're not all exactly the same, although they're very consistent here. So you see people throwing out the heaviest one always. I don't know. It's kind of a problem. Julie Daly looks to be about 7 inches. Now, here's a big point I want to emphasize. I gave you a range, 5 to 8. So this should be a fairly consistent snow even. I think there'll be a lot of 6s. But remember, it's a range. You get a little mix coming in early, you're at the 5. You don't get that mix, you don't get that dry slot in early, you're at the 7 or 8. It's a range still. It's not I look at my number and there's a point. It's a range of likelihood, okay? Jackson, Barbara, you're in the 6-inch burst. Everybody is kind of in the 6-inch burst that moves toward the northeast, so it's pretty easy. You're either close to 6 or just below it with a solid burst of snow. Again, we've had bigger snowstorms, but it will be quite an intense snow as it moves through. The last thing that I'll bring up here on this is the temperatures. And it still looks as though we get a warm up above freezing. Okay, so we are, let me find us here. We're Saturday morning and we're in the 20s. So it's easily snowfall and sticking. Tom Ramsey, wet snow or fluffy snow? Wet snow, definitely, because look, as we get to 11 in the morning, we're heading toward freezing. As we get into the early afternoon, we're above freezing, probably 35 to 37, maybe 38. That's when I think the roads improve for about a 3 to 6 hour window, and then the temperatures go the other way, and I wanted to show you that. This is Saturday evening and Saturday night, and you can see how the cold spreads back over the area, and if the roads are wet, they would refreeze. All right, let's get to some people. What about Grosse Pointe? You're in the burst of 5 to 8 inches. You are in the winter storm warning officially. When does it start? Again, it starts late this evening and going in most places by 1 in the morning. Good morning, Malik Hammond. Hopefully I got that right, from Ann Arbor. Good morning. You got a tongue twister name like I do also. Let's see. How about Flint? You are in the winter weather advisory, probably not the 8 inches, so you're in the 4 to 7 inch range, I would say, for Flint. Easily 4, probably 5 or so. Good morning, Steve. And Monroe, you are in the winter storm warning, 5 to maybe 8. Detroit will get hit. Yes, Detroit gets it overnight, and by morning you'll have 3 or 4 inches, and you'll get another couple of inches. So you're in that 5 to 8 inch range, probably 6 or 7 in the Detroit area. Ashley, out in the southern central part of the state, out in Gratiot County, you're 5 to 7, probably not the 8. Okay, Dee Holmes, professional drivers, be careful out there. Yes, driving back from Chicago, definitely be careful. And again, Saturday, late morning, early afternoon, temperatures go to 33, 34, 35, up to about Saginaw, Mount Pleasant. North of that, you stay cold enough probably for it to stay all snow and continue on the roads. But south of that, there may be a significant improvement on the roads. It'll just take one swipe of the plow, a slowdown of the precip, some salt, cars driving over it. Hour or two, roads could improve for a period until it turns cold again. Essexville, what's it look like for me, Chuck Seafeld? I would say Essexville is 4 to 7, probably not 7. Okay. Worse here downriver or Grand Rapids? We will be in GR this weekend. About the same for the initial part of the storm. 5 to 8 Grand Rapids, probably not 8. 5 to 8 in south of Detroit. And then as Detroit snow ends, Grand Rapids lake effect kicks in for Sunday. So a little different scenario there. How about around DTW? Our flight is leaving at 12:25 p.m. on Saturday. Christy Schulte. That's the period when it warms up above freezing and the dry slot comes in. So, you might have some luck there. Flint driving Friday night. Okay, yes, if you can get to Flint, like I said earlier, before 10 or 11 o'clock, you probably even miss even just the start of it. Hey, good morning, Amy Mogg. Saginaw, Ashley Gomez. Saginaw 4 to 7, probably not 7. Lansing 5 to 8, yes. Claire 4 to 7. And then some lake effect is on Sunday. Caseville 4 to 7, probably not 7. St. Clair 5 to 8. Saugatuck on Saturday, you're in the 5 to 8, probably not 8, probably 5 or 6, and then you change to lake effect by Saturday night and Sunday. Jackson to Concord at 3 p.m. today, fine. 3 p.m. Saturday, you're hopefully in the 35-degree temperatures at that point, and the lull. What will I-94 driving be for Sunday morning? Now, after Saturday night, our temperatures go down. So we're going to be down to 20 probably by Sunday morning. Northwesterly to westerly wind. A lake effect band could develop somewhere along I-94. So I think it'll be variable driving on I-94. Tip-Up Town, Houghton Lake this weekend. Is there ice? Let's hope so. You're 4 to 7 inches. Have a good time. Livonia, you're 5 to 8. Hillsdale, you're 5 to 8. Muskegon, you're 4 to 7 with the initial part, and then you are a couple of inches possible on the lake effect. We'll have to watch that. Traverse City, 4 to 7. Montrose, 4 to 7. Dowagiac, 5 to 8. Croswell, 4 to 7. Sheboygan area, probably on this one, solid 5, 6 inches. Beaverton, 4 to 7, probably not 7. New Baltimore, 5 to 8. Will Saginaw have the lake effect on Sunday? Spurts of lake effect, but in Saginaw, it's rare that it can last long enough to put together an inch or two. When do the winds begin? Good question. The winds ahead of the storm will be southeasterly, 10 to 20 miles an hour. Behind the storm in the colder air, that'll start to happen late Saturday afternoon, west side of the state, Saturday evening on the east side of the state. There you go. That's your morning update on this storm system. Of course, we will be covering it here on MLive, and I will keep you updated through the day. I'm going to have a post that will show that map of snowfall, so if you want to check back to that. And then we'll just babysit this storm along. I don't anticipate a whole lot of changes with this one, so I think it's pretty good. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Be careful driving tomorrow morning. Think about if you can wait from tomorrow morning and shift it into the late morning or early afternoon when it warms up a little bit. You'll probably be safer. If you can wait till Sunday, you'll probably be safer even then. But again, remember, Sunday's a little different. It is a colder day, so the roads won't clean up quite as quickly on Sunday. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Have yourselves a great Friday. You'll see me on the weekend again, unfortunately.